Okay, it is now 2:30, and I want to greet everyone that's here. I'm Husana, and we are Friends of Bright Minds. And Friends of Bright Minds, our mission is to bring children, families by obtaining high-level quality education. Support services and advocacy to improve students' achievement. But the idea is that we are a community-based organization, and our objective is constantly to bring information to our community to help them, to help themselves, help their families. So during this time of COVID-19, we know that people are caregivers. They are experiencing situations that's really new to them. So the topic of this presentation is isolation, combating isolation and stress exacerbated by COVID-19. And the reason I will say exacerbated, because I know that many of us throughout the year, we are suffering with stress. So with this, Friends of Bright Minds are putting these presentations together to still reach out to our community. So with this, I want to introduce you to Nyasia. Nyasia have worked with us, and she has her degree in forensic psychology and a degree in behavioral health care. She is currently employed by New York City as a public health advocate. So what we want her to do, we want her to go over issues that may be impacting you at the time: isolation, stress, and what we can do, the information that we can give to help you with to deal with some of these issues.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, hello everyone. I appreciate everyone coming on our Zoom today at Friends of Bright Minds. It's just a great community organization that does a lot of community outreach for, education and just connectivity in our communities to keep everybody informed. I no longer work for the city, now I work for the state. Now work part with the Research Foundation for Mental Hygiene and OASIS, which is the state office of substance abuse services. So that's old, but thanks again, Husana.
That's okay.
Yeah, so as Husana stated, it's very important to realize that we all previously, before COVID-19, had our own life stresses and anxieties and personal barriers with family members and being a caretaker, just a worker. And then once this pandemic became more widespread, it kind of put everything in a bubble. We're in a bubble in our homes or in misplaced places. So I appreciate that Friends of Bright Minds had, the initiative to let's talk about this. Let's talk about isolation. Let's talk about anxiety and how we can combat that with our community, for ourselves, and just share the information. Because sometimes people might want to reach out, but they don't know who they want to reach out to. So we can just share the information amongst ourselves and with each other. That always helps at least one or two people, or even more. So I shared a document with Husana. Did you get the email that I sent to you?
I did, and we're going to ask Fatima. Will you share the document now, Fatima? And what we can do later, if the participants would like us to forward them the information, we will do that. but you can see some of the resources that the sister have put together for you, that Aisha have put together. So, yes, we can share the document now. Fatima, can you share the document?
Yes, I'm going to share it in a few minutes. As soon as I get it, I'm going to share it. I have to pull it up.
Okay.
Thank you. So this is just a simple document, just kind of, I could say like a context of everything that I'm going to say in summary. All the information that I have, you can find on Google. You can go to the New York City website, especially with the New York City website. They have a lot of forwarding information because everybody has different barriers, different issues. So if you go there, you can find a lot of good resources as well. That's on the document. So we
will have that document.
Yes.
Now, what we can do now, if we have people that are here, maybe we can help each other. We can share our experiences of maybe what we are dealing with feeling isolation, or maybe feeling some stress. Maybe we could share with each other, and that's helping each other. We help each other. So if anyone would like to start in sharing, just you could start.
So we can't do all the things that we're used to doing. So if you reframe it and say, oh, I can't see the children physically or touch them physically because you're a para and that's a more one-on-one, profession, but you do still get to speak to them. You still get to be that voice and advocate for them with remote learning and saying, oh, did you log in today? Oh, that's great, you did log in today. Because the kid is going to remember, oh, Sister Halima is going to contact me today. That's going to be in their mind and on their schedule. But even though you're apart, it's a full-time job, plus additional things that I have to do now because it's health. And just reframe it and say, oh, I'm seeing the kids, even though it's not the way I'm used to seeing them, I'm still seeing them. They're still getting some work done. I still can go outside, even though I don't like wearing the mask, I can move around. And then going for a walk is good. If you're a very active person and you're a very connective type person, just going outside for a walk or even joining a Zoom or a phone call, it changes your narrative. So don't so much focus on all of your deficits. Look for the silver linings and say, okay, I know Monday through Friday I have my work. My mom is now in my home. Maybe I could strike a different conversation that I never had to strike with her before. Can I talk to her aide, learn something new? Just try to find.
In such stressful times. So Fatima, would you like to just say what PACE is and what we do?
Greetings, everyone. We started PACE about a year and change ago, and we somehow partnered with different community organizations trying to give parents various tools to help them to be more effective in their home, because we realize that sometimes parents struggle with helping even children with their homework. They might have their own emotional issues at home. So we deal with a lot of different concerns pertaining to parents, which include nutritional concerns, which includes mental wellness concerns. At one point, we were talking about social media and how that was impacting children, and how we could keep our kids off of the computers and the iPads. But now with COVID-19, many of our kids are more on the computers and the iPads than ever before. So, so God willing, we will continue with PACE, but it will be different coming up this year. We were meeting in the libraries, one library specifically, and we would have guest panelists and guest speakers come in. Now, with the COVID crisis, we're going to take our PACE online and have it more with this type of format, where we're going to invite our guest speakers to do workshops virtually. And it'll be a good thing because we're still going to be disseminating the information. People don't have to travel anywhere to go anywhere to the workshops. And the workshops will still be hands-on, where we'll be giving out resources for parents, helping them with their children, and helping them to succeed.
Have any words of wisdom for the mothers who are dealing with children and children who have to be on computers all day?
Well, I can share my observation of experience. So, with what I've seen with my mother and my grandmother, my sisters, that they had to implement a new schedule. So, with mothers with children, kids have a schedule, the parents have a schedule, the caregiver has a schedule. So, every day, my sister, she would be dropped off by my mom or my grandma. My grandma would pick her up. She has after school assignment, or when she come home, she does her assignment, etc. But since being home, like the sister just shared with us, she's on her phone all day, she's on her laptop all day, she can talk to her friends all day. Once she does her school assignment, she's not going from class to class. It's more leisure time for them. So what my mom and my grandma decided to do was re-implement a new schedule. They go outside for a walk because that was something that they were doing, walking to school and walking home. They stopped, for these past 2 months. But then they realized, no, let's bring the physical activity back into it. Let's just go for a walk. They walk to the Family Dollar, the corner, etc., just in the neighborhood. Keep it close by. Then for the technology, take it away. Don't let them be on the technology all day. Yeah, they have to do it for their school assignments. Yes, it's keeping them social. But at some time, you're just going to have to take it away and make them do something else. Make them read a book. Make them do a craft. Show them something, teach them something outside of the technology realm. So with my sister, she likes drawing and she likes photography. So they've gone into that realm of, okay, what can we learn about photography? What are we drawing that's not school related? And she has art classes that's mandated, but let's do a craft that's outside of the schoolwork. And so we talked to my cousin, he has a young daughter, she's 4, and he liked the idea of taking away the technology. So because daycare is closed, he's really relied on the iPad, especially for a small girl like that. But he's like, man, I can't have her on the iPad all the time. But he's also working. So when she's not with her mom or his mom or himself, he goes, okay. He called me, he said, can I use your Amazon account? He ordered a bunch of activities that he called the daycare. They said, okay, what did you have her doing that I can have her do at home, but also make it fun? So yes, they're going to be on the technology. We're using technology right now. It's an overabundance of technology going around, but you have to put your foot down and create a schedule that's outside of the technology. You have to give them physical activity outside of that, and you have to give them crafts and activities that don't involve their phone or iPad. Is it going to be perfect? No. Are you still going to be frustrated and have the anxiety? Yes, but it's something that's better than nothing.
I say something in reference to that. There is a site.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, hello everyone.
North Carolina.
Yes. There is a site for education called myseesaw.com. And they have from preschool up to 12th grade activities which are put into a game-like frame. So instead of the children playing a game like Fortnite or something to that extent, they have educational games that fit that kind of fit in that criteria. So it looks like it's a lot of fun. I haven't tried them all because I haven't taught high school. I've taught up to the high school level. But I have a homeschool client where we go on there for about 20 minutes and I pick out a game. Some of them are like, if some people online remember Etch-a-Sketch, where you could take kind of like draw pictures. You can do that. They have activities like that where you do it with the mouse on the computer, or if you have a touch screen, you can do it like that. They have songs, children's songs. They have a read-along library, and they have a lot of things that they've developed just to put in the space of this COVID in order to help parents teach, because the daycare I was at, we had to go virtual at some point, and we were using Zoom, and I would take my activities from Seesaw and download them so I can put them on Zoom for my class. And I found it to be, the children and the parents said it was very entertaining, and they wanted to do that more than they wanted to go on and just play a game or play something that just wasn't, challenging their intellect.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was nice. And then, like you said, sometimes you'll be surprised that a kid will like something that you see it as educational, but to them it's just a new game.
Right.
So they've been playing Fortnite for how long now? With that, oh, this is a new game. I'm going to give that a break and give this a try. So thank you for sharing that.
Right, and a lot of those games have like badges that you can win, different challenges, going to different levels, so it becomes very entertaining while they learn.
What's the name of the site again? Seesaw?
Seesaw, S-E-E, well, stick the my in front of it, MYSEESAW.com.
Yeah, I put it in the chat, so you can check the chat. It's
Okay.
in the chat.
Okay, yeah, the link is in the chat. Thank you.
Gotcha.
I like to just double back to when Zakia was speaking about just a previous anxiety. I think it's important to acknowledge that that a lot of kids too have had previous anxiety that can be addressed during this time, because a lot of kids don't know if they're going to be promoted, what's going on with that. Do they still have to take examinations? Parents still have that worry and that stress. My sister, they had a parent-teacher conference last week. They told her that she is being promoted because she's keeping up on all of her assignments. And then prior to that, the report card that she had her at the 98th percentile. So that's just a kid that is, we're happy about. But what about the kids who were, promotion in doubt? Or the kid that doesn't have the, technology, help, or the kid that doesn't have the family help to say, oh, did you do your assignment? Let me double check it. So I feel like a lot of children and adults are going through a lot of anxiety. And like he stated, if you're working, you're going through anxiety, you have a mishap at your job. Usually if you're in the office, you can automatically catch it. You can double back on it. You can shred, you can do your secure printing. But if you're using third parties or you're expecting somebody to continue the work for you, or even our, administration, a lot of times they don't know more than half of the things that we're doing in the office. Because if you're doing your job well, they just expect you to continue to do well, and they rely on you. Or if something is out of place right now, they have no idea how they're learning. Everybody's learning new things that they've never learned before. And the ways that I've dealt with anxiety for myself will work too, because with my new job, I'm supposed to travel around the state and see organizations face to face and inspect the facilities and sit during the mental health and substance abuse assessments and trainings and see, are they actually servicing the community? And also, if they're not servicing, what's the deficit and how can we improve it? And what can we get from federal funds to help the community? I can't do that. I can't go inspect them. I can't do pop-up on them. I can't just, talk to clients face to face. Well, I couldn't until we have new resources now, but you have to advocate for that and you have to know your job. And in dealing with the anxiety, Zakia expressed when she said, oh, when somebody calls, she's over-giving information, people call it dumping. But if you're talking to somebody who's going to give you feedback, it's not really dumping, it's just sharing. And it's kind of unloading what's on your chest, because all of us have things that are on our chest. So when you speak to people during this time, try to speak to somebody who is going to give you good feedback. Not everybody's that you speak with is going to give you good feedback. Some people they're gonna let you talk until your mouth is dry, and then they're gonna say, okay, I'll call you in a couple days. And then that just adds on to your anxiety. It's like, what did I accomplish? And now you're feeling bad about yourself. You're talking down on yourself and you're thinking, oh man, I did too much there. So if you find someone who can say, oh, you told me that you miss going outside to Trader Joe's and that you miss going to your job, and your job, you printed out 3 checks. What happened? How did you solve that issue? Then you're gonna go in your mind and you're gonna start thinking deeper and further. You're not just going to keep giving out all of the negative things and all of your fears. So in your anxiety, you want to verbalize what's going on with you in your moment, but also make contact. Don't be afraid to contact people, to speak with people, to call someone. It can be, even sometimes you'll be surprised if someone you haven't spoken with in a while, because they're just waiting for you to pick up the phone and call them. A lot of times we're waiting, oh, I'm going to let this person text me. I'm going to let this person call me. I think during this time, we have to do a lot of the outreaching, and we also can't hold it against people who don't contact us, because that's also a response in anxiety, is that they're going to isolate themselves because they're just going to continue to dig deeper into the hole. and they're not going to reach out to you. But if you reach out to them, if you have that strength within you, you'll see it's a different narrative. So we can't really hold it against people who aren't contacting us, because you want to tell them that you are proud of them. You know that this was something that they worked very hard for. You support them. You look forward to the next steps, and that this time isn't going to last forever. So first, you want to give them that positive affirmation. And then after that, you want to find a creative way to still make them feel connected to that stepping stone in life. Like I know recently on social media, you know, former President Obama and other celebrities, Oprah, they had a whole video Zoom commencement to give them, you know, positive words, still have that experience of, oh, having a special speaker telling me, okay, congratulations, this is what you should do when you go, you know, to your next steps. Then I know a lot of people have been doing Zoom graduations. So if you have a small community, it could just be you, it could be two cousins, whomever, just getting together and making noise, you know, screaming, saying, oh, congratulations, I'm happy for you. Just find different ways, just in your home, buy them a cake, a cupcake, you know, get some balloons, you know, some noisemakers. Still, you have to try to make them feel as special as they can, because this is a moment that has been taken away from them, not by another person, not by, you know, the school, not by their own actions, but by a whole health pandemic that's not only affecting them, but every single person who's graduating from 8th grade, 5th grade, high school, college, doctorate, on and on across the world. So you have to let them know that it's not just them, it's not their fault, they're not alone in this experience, but it's still a major accomplishment. So you have to continue, it's going to be a continuous reaffirmation of, you know, congratulating them that they accomplished this, that they can continue to accomplish things, and then teach them that adversity builds character, you know.
Well, that's, that's good. Adversity builds character. That's good. That's good. And I think too, I just know for myself that I'm not feeling the isolation nor the stress, but I have used this time for developing myself, reading, learning. So we all deal, and maybe that's how I deal with stress. You know, maybe that's how I deal with stress, you know? So, but it's, I like that saying, adversity builds character, it does. And in one of the sessions that I've been on, what he said is, during this time, he said, you could look at your character, because you are seeing yourself in the purity, your pure self now, because you're not out there to show off for anyone. You are with yourself. What you do is your true character. And that says a lot. What you do now is your true character, because you're not doing it for show.
And I think that's very hard for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't like to sit in the silence of their own mind.
Yeah.
So we're very, especially minorities, people of color, however you want to phrase it for yourself, we're a very communal type of people. We like to connect. We like to be around other people. We love a festival. We love a get together. We love a conversation. So to just be so separated, to be alone and isolated, it's very hard for people. And then if you did, you know, have kind of anxieties or panics as a child, it comes from different experiences. You're sitting now home thinking about those things. And if you don't have any resources, if you don't have anyone to talk to, it kind of weighs you down. So I think that this was a very important Zoom conference call that we have. Thank you so much for putting it together. I'm really enjoying all of everyone's perspectives and the conversation. And I really feel like this is something that each of us are going to take into our homes, share with others, and continue to use moving forward. So that's good. And what you described, Kusana, are coping mechanisms. Everybody has their own coping mechanisms. You know, it's reading, listening to music, exercising, talking on the phone, researching, being on the phone, you know, playing games. We all have things that are going to work for our own self-image or self-worth. But just
you said something at the beginning that let's look at this time not as a deficit, but what we have added to improve ourselves. So, and let's face it, most of us, even if we do not have COVID-19, we will still be dealing with stress. So even without this, we have to learn how to deal with stress, because stress will kill you. Stress is just as bad as coming down with COVID-19. So I thank everyone for being here. Does anyone, and yes, and I want to thank everybody for coming, tuning in, and I hope that we have, each one of us have gotten some pearls from this that will help us in the weeks that's coming. Because think about it, even if we are listening to, I don't know where you're getting your information from, but I'm sure it's quite confusing who to listen to, what am I to do. Even I took a long walk this morning and I heard so much noise. You know, the last 6 weeks, you go out and it's beautiful. You hear the birds, but this morning, the music was blaring and I said, yes, we're back from where we started. And it made me think of these past couple of weeks, you know, how things had changed, how we had started looking at the world in from a different lens. And this morning I put back on the same lens, you know, but the only thing I know why I was out there, and I took a long walk and it was really nice. The weather is nice. So I really want to thank everybody. I hope that you all got something from this. Those of you who are caring for your spouse or your a family member, your mothers, you know, you have our support. You are in our duas, and anytime that you feel that you need support, please reach out. We try to, Friends of Bright Minds, we try to reach out to our members. We try to, when we reach out, we suggest reaching out to people. Wellness call, wellness check, how you doing? And sometimes you know, when you ask a person how you doing, then a whole lot of stuff starts coming. But that's what they need for that time. That's what they need for that time. So, you know, sometimes you just have to, you know, listen. So thank you very much. And hopefully, if you have a suggestion, something that you would like us to bring to the attention to help you, please let us know. Send us you could call us to let us know, Friends of Right Minds, or just suggest it.